And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the late night show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. This is technically the latest late night podcast because it's so late. I forgot. I just didn't do it on Friday, and I don't do this on the weekend. I don't want to. So here we are on a Monday at 2 p.m. Post interview with a television person. We'll see. I mean, I already did it, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. Can I? I could, but I ain't going to do it. Welcome back. It was a late night week of all of the hosts essentially reeling, just trying to come together and go and like reconnect and go, hey, listen, Trump won. Now we got to back up. It's interesting to see that, and I can still sense it in the audiences when they go to watch these shows, because I feel as though people are watching late night with Seth Meyers in particular for his takes on A Closer Look. And they're sitting there waiting for that, and they're not laughing at anything else. And the rest of the show is very funny. The same thing goes for Kimmel and Fallon and the rest of the hosts, just everybody else. It's like they're only waiting to hear about these hosts' takes on the election and what Trump is doing now. And I can say the same even for, this is a pseudo late night show, SNL, when Bill Burr, I was going to say Maher, when Bill Burr hosted post-election, I feel like he didn't read the room and people were just waiting because at post-election they want to see who hosted post-election. Dave Chappelle, Aziz Ansari. Comedians like that, they wanted to see somebody do a takedown of what happened. And Bill was kind of skirting the line between, I don't want to talk about it, and then we have to talk about it. Even for the sketches, it felt, for the past 2 weeks, because again, this is late. So even the episode that aired on the 16th felt a little bit, not held back is not what I'm saying. The one with Charlie XCX. Not held back, but just kind of bereft of life. And I'll say that about all live comedy in the past 2 weeks. I just feel like there's been like a lack of. It's not that people have given up, but it's like it feels as though we've all just been shocked. Okay, now let's do this late night thing, the podcast thing. Amber Ruffin came back. Well, she was just a part of it. She's a writer of the show. But Amber Says What was she did a nice little recap. It was great running gags in the middle of it. There's also something with John Lutz that I just urge people to watch because I think John Lutz is a very funny guy. It's interesting when Seth gets up from the desk to do something with a guest, such as this past week, Gayle King presented Oprah's favorite things list from 2024. I always feel like the show gets a little bit more chaotic, like during a cooking segment where I assume purposefully schedule the cooking segment in the C block or D block rather, C block, because they do. A block is the monologue and the desk piece. B is usually guest one, guest two. So D block. So if they usually do like a D block of cooking, and it's only like a 5-minute segment, and they have to cook something in like they have a 10-minute dish they need to do in 5. I always think it's so chaotic and very funny. And of course, he had the closer looks where he was talking about. And Cynthia Erivo was on the show, which is great. But I always feel like when the 11:30 shows get, excuse me, when the midnight shows get these big guests, that it's so like Barry Keoghan was on 2 weeks ago. I think it's always so uh, crazy that they don't get a lot of views online, but then they also have like this A-list guest. Anyway, Tonight Show. Cynthia Erivo also in getting ready for this week's episode, and I was grabbing clips. I just happened to grab clips all with women of color, mostly black women. I don't know how that happened. I truly was just like, let me grab the Amber Ruff one. Oh, let me grab the Wanda Sykes one from Jimmy Kimmel. Let me grab the Dulce Sloan because she came back in the Daily Show. I was just like, wait a minute, let me just see if I can keep going. Cynthia Erivo is one of the best singers around right now. Broadway. I love her voice. I love her style. She's so fantastic. It's really funny. It was not funny at all, but I took a Broadway Peloton walk this morning, and Matty Majacomo, the way he talked about Cynthia Erivo, he said something very specific. He said something along the lines of, now she's like getting more famous, or like now people are noticing who she is, or something like that. Or like now she's like super famous. Or like she's always been famous. Like for the past, like I can, well, not Widows. What was that movie that she was in? Anyway, she's great. She's been around for a long time. But her doing the musical genre challenge on the Tonight Show is amazing. And it felt like they chose different genres with Broadway style songs on purpose, as opposed to usually the pop things they do. Jimmy Kimmel had Wanda Sykes on, Kerry Washington, Jimmy O Yang. They also did a prank, which I'm not a huge fan of because it just seems so generic and boring to me, but they did it. Wanda Sykes talked about the election, being a woman of color and all that stuff. Colbert had a nice week. You know who I forgot? I forgot After Midnight. It's because it doesn't have the word late in it. I have to open up all my subscriptions. Anyway, Billy Bob Thornton popped up wearing the craziest hat. And he's got a giant goatee as always. And then Ken Burns popped up to talk about Da Vinci. And John Krasinski was shown to be the sexiest man alive for People magazine, which is, I guess, sure. He's a handsome guy. I don't know if he was big this year. Because I always feel like the sexiest man alive should be somebody who was popping within the year. But who am I? Not the sexiest man alive. And Francis Ford Coppola came on to talk about Megalopolis and, warts and all. After Midnight had, I'll say this. Sometimes I will praise this show for having an excellent slew of guests. Sometimes I'll say, I didn't know any of these people on all week. And then other times I'll say, there needs to be diversity. And that's where this is what the show does. Langston Kerman, Megan Gailey, Maria Bamford, Aya Cash, Kate McCucci, Mark Duplass, Pete Holmes. There's a lot of repeats in there, especially Pete Holmes. I love Pete Holmes. There's a lot of repeats in there. I can name 10 comics right now that they could put up, or comedy-based people that they could put in. I love Pete Holmes. He's one of my favorite comedians ever. I would like to see just a little bit more of an effort to bring in other people who I know are not working. They're just hosting podcasts or appearing on TV shows. And then The Daily Show brought back, Jordan Klepper was hosting, but it also brought back Dulce Sloan. I always wonder, I feel like she's on, she's like doing her own thing at the moment, like touring or something. But I think Dulce is great. And no one ever talks about her as if she's part of the main correspondent crew anymore. Maybe she's on a reduced contract or something, so she could go tour. But I like her a lot. She's very funny. She came back and did a piece for the show. Okay. We are late in the year. There's not much to talk about in terms of late night. But what's one thing that popped up before the weekend started is that the host of the Oscars was announced, and it's going to be Conan O'Brien. In the past couple of years, it's been Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is very good, very affable. I think he's a great host. But now Conan's going to be hosting the 97th Oscars. Wow, we're 3 away from 100. I mean, that's going to be a huge celebration. Make fun of award shows all you want, but that's going to be huge. Just like this year I have a lot of issues with SNL this year. As I was watching yesterday, there was a sketch. You know what? I have YouTube open. I should just go to it because I genuinely do not know what happened to the sketch. And it's not often that I think like, oh, this is not for me on SNL. But in the past couple of years, these TikTok sketches, I don't do TikTok. I don't scroll through. I don't know what memes are. I just don't know what this is. And they also cut 2 sketches, which is interesting. They're over on time. They cut 2 sketches and they put them on YouTube, which is great. Although I feel like one of them was a straight up dress rehearsal sketch. That's not saying the quality was bad. I'm saying it just felt so loose and so funny. I liked it a lot. But they had this sketch, and I'm scrolling down. That's not online. Interesting. Okay, it's not online. And I can't remember what it was about. That's very... Oh, wait, never mind. It is. Here it is. It's called It Girl Thanksgiving Special. I didn't know what that was. And I never felt so lost. At least with the TikTok thing, there's like 1 or 2 bits within the scrolling madness that I can laugh at. But this It Girl Thanksgiving Special was just not for me. And that is in the past year, I will say in the past year, maybe 2 years, because I'm including just the whole Elon Musk episode. Because there is a sketch in there like with Warrior or whatever that just didn't make sense to me. In the past year, Jacob Elordi, I didn't know who that guy was. I don't watch Euphoria. I had no idea who he was. And when he popped up, when it was announced he was going to host, I said, I don't know who this guy is. I still don't know why they let him host. Second, McGee, who was the musical guest with Bill Burr just in the last episode before Charlie XCX. I listen to a lot of music. I subscribe to SiriusXM. I have YouTube Music. When I can, I get Apple Music when they have 3 months for $10 or whatever. I listen to a lot of music. I listen to music podcasts. I listen to every Friday. I open up that Explore page on YouTube Music, and I see what albums are there are, and I go Linkin Park, download it. Dave East, download it. I don't care. Katy Perry, download it. I don't care. I'm going to listen to it to see if there's any songs I like. I did not know who Mick Gee was. And that really stood out. But then this It Girl Thanksgiving special came on. I just went, I was with you until that point. Okay. Conan O'Brien is hosting the 97th Oscars. It's going to be his first time. I could definitely see him doing it again, even before it even starts. Conan said, America demanded it, and now it's happening. Taco Bell's new cheesy chalupa supreme. In other news, I'm hosting the Oscars. It's going to be a fun, silly time. He's really great at doing that. And I know this audience is going to enjoy him because he's a lovable person. He's so different from Kimmel. So I'm excited to see what he can bring. I know it's going to be a big spectacle. Conan likes to take swings. That's pretty much it. There's no other news except for this. He's hosted the Emmys before, I believe. Let me see. Conan host Emmys. Google thinks I'm stupid. Yes, he did host the Emmys, and they were very funny. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at clips right now. Yeah, he definitely hosted Emmys. I can't wait to see what he does. Hopefully, didn't Homer Simpson appear at the Emmys at one point? I think last year, or the year before. So wouldn't it be great if Conan brought The Simpsons to the Oscars? Again, he's not worked there in 30 years. I like Conan, though. I think this will be a very fun time. And that's pretty much it. I have nothing else, and I don't want to put out a 16-minute episode of the show. So let's see what else is in my notes. See, this is why I should start doing monologues again. But monologues are so hard. You see how hard it was to get this episode out on time. Oh, my gosh. I can't even name what else is going on late night. I will say this about, again, I'll go back to SNL. The weekend update. I guess SNL is a late night show, whatever, late night variety show. But I do think the weekend update was so much better this week because I think people were in a better mood. Again, but I do think that people come to late night to kind of have their thoughts affirmed, and when the late night hosts are unable to really capture they're able to capture America's sentiment in terms of the election, but they're unable to really put words and everything to it because we're all still kind of in that shocking moment. And now we're a week removed, 2 weeks removed at this point, but a week removed from the election, it feels like these hosts are still finding their footing, but they're much better than where they were a week ago. And so with that being said, the weekend update this week was just fantastic. It was so pointed and so funny. And then also I saw, before I even watched SNL, I was on YouTube on Sunday morning and I saw that Bowen Yang popped up as Tiger King. And I'm like, why is Joe Exotic Tiger King? Why is this in the news? And to see, I hate to say it, I learned one thing that Joe Exotic wrote to Trump, which is insane to me. But this weekend update was great. It was great, just enjoyable. I wonder what the stipulations for a desk piece are. Like, do you just pitch one? And also, you're obviously, when you're a new recruit, when you're a featured player, you get a desk piece. And I wonder how you can choose what to talk about. Anywhoosers, last week tonight comes to an end at some point. The last episode just aired. So they'll be going on break until 2025. We'll see some breaks happening up soon for other late night shows. It'll be fun. Okay, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. I wore this shirt during that interview. If you want to see a video version of this show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. I started the music before I even pressed the button. If you want to see a video version of the other podcasts, the Constitutionals podcast, the Entertainment Business News podcast, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast, you can go there. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at @CPlusComedy, and Blue Sky now at @CPlusComedy. All right, me at Chad Black White. Bye.